Hello everyone, welcome to our Precalculus lesson video. This is for our final term practice paper solution video, and you already have some idea about this thing because you have seen this exam date, time, etc., etc. So let's go straight into our questions. For the first question, find the domain of each of the function. Some functions are given here. And from the first function, the domain is all real number because you see the condition is if there is a square root or if there is denominator, then we have to be careful. Because within the square root, negative number is not possible, and within the denominator, 0 is not possible. But here, there is no square root, there is no denominator. That's why for this x, you can put any value you want. Everywhere this function is defined. That's why answer is all real number. But here we have to look at for what value of x. First of all, for what value of x this function is 0. Then we can identify which side of that value we have our solution. So this is 4 minus x square. Since you know that from the 4 minus x square, this calculation actually tells us that the x value will be plus 2 and minus 2. Plus minus 2. So for this 2 value, this function will be 0, x equals to plus 2 and minus 2. We know it from considering that this value equal to 0, then x equals to what? This way we know that x equals to plus 2 and minus 2. Now you see, the rule is if you see the 4 minus x squared, that means our solution is in between this plus 2 and minus 2, included. The values are included. If it is x square minus 4, then it is actually outside of this two value. Okay. In another way, you can actually do some experimentation where this function is valid from this plus 2 and minus 2. You can just try to put some value. Suppose if you put plus 1, which is between, this is minus 2, this is plus 2. Okay. So you can put any value in between here in the function to test, just to understand. If you want to understand it in detail, you can just put it here. You see, if you put 1, this function is valid. There is no problem. 4 minus 1 equal to 3, root 3, you have the value. But if you put some bigger value, suppose 3 here, then it becomes 9. 4 minus 9 means minus 5, which is undefined. That means for this 3, this function is not defined. So this way also you will understand from this obtained value which side is true for this or correct or valid for this given function. So what I'm saying is, if you see the question is x square minus 4 root over, then actually the solution will be from plus 2 to plus infinity and minus 2 to minus infinity. So you see, if they switch the position, then actually answer also changes. Okay. And same thing will go for, suppose if you have x square minus 9 root of x square minus 9, then from here solution will be plus minus 3. But since x square comes first, then the final solution will be from plus 3 to plus infinity and from minus 3 to minus infinity for this one. But for the same question, if we write it this way, 9 minus x square, for the similarity, they are not same question. 9 minus x square, suppose the question is this, then the solution will be from plus 3 to minus 3. So this way they are different. Okay, this way they are different, and the values are included because at plus 3 and minus 3 the function becomes 0. 0 is valid here. And when we see something like x minus 2, something in the denominator, then we have to look at for what value of x this function is undefined, and we can see that this function is undefined at x equals to 2. So you can see that 2 minus 2 equals to 0. So we cannot put x equals to 2 here. That's why all the real number except plus 2 is the domain of this function. Okay. So this is how we can find out the domain. Any question you see in the exam, actually you can use this rule everywhere. Another, just one important thing is you have to look at if you see the square root in the downside, then basically we have to look at that with some extra care. Okay, we have to make the thing within the square root downside. Suppose you have x minus 2, that means now your this value has to go has to be, it cannot be equals to 0 anymore. It has to be greater than 0. It has to be greater than 0. Even downside also it cannot be 0. Okay, it has to be greater than 0 if we see something in the denominator. What I'm saying is, suppose in this question you can write 4 minus x square greater or equal to 0. So this number has to be greater or equal to 0 for this function to be valid. But in this kind of case, suppose if we keep x minus 2 root, then actually you cannot give greater or equal to, you just have to write here greater than. It has to be greater than, because equal to cannot be 0, because equal to is not valid, because if it is equal to, then actually this function becomes undefined. So which is actually symmetrical, which is actually similar with our previous comments. Our previous comment is we have to look for what value of x this function becomes 0. Okay, so it cannot be, it cannot take 2. But you see if there is no square root, then actually it can take, it can be positive or negative, any value. But if there is a square root, then we have to look at just only positive value. Okay, just only positive value. I'm just explaining it from different angles, this same concept, but you can just so that you can connect this concept with any other maths. Although all the concepts is not necessary for your final exam, just saying. Okay, last point, let me just say it once again. Last point, this one just only domain is all real number except plus 2. That means positive, negative, any number, just only 2 is not possible for this question. But if you see some root x minus 2 like this, then actually answer becomes different. Then answer is x is greater than plus 2. So then the answer is different. This is what I'm saying here. Okay, then the answer becomes different. So you will have to you have to be careful about all these things. Okay, that's it. Domain related question actually is very important in many other maths also. When you will go to UG and other classes, wherever you study, you will have to understand the domain. Domain means what are the possible value you can put here, where you will get some answer. Domain means that. Okay, domain means that. In other words, suppose if I say, if we talk about, for example, all the food we do not eat. Domain means what are the food that this function will eat. Suppose if you give me just plain grass, I cannot eat that, or we cannot eat that. We do not eat that. Okay, so we have to exclude that. And then many other things we do not eat. We just eat a couple of things, or from the, if we look at the whole list. So more or less, so what are the things that we eat is related to us. So what are the things, what are the numbers this function can take is the domain of this function. Kind of that. Valid value, x value is called the domain. Anyway, we have invested a good amount of time for this question. Let's go to the next one. Which one is function and which one is not a function? We have to identify it from here. You can draw a vertical line. See, this one will pass the vertical line test. That's why it is a function. This one will not pass the vertical line test because it at 2 points the graph will intersect. That's why it is not true. Here relation C is actually a function, because as you can see, relation C, all the input is associated with 1. Unlike this one, C3 is associated with 2 output, 0 is associated with 1 output, 2 different outputs, minus 1 and plus 1. So that's why it is not a function. We have to look at this carefully. This one 2, 1, 0, 1. So you see this value also 2 value This is 1, this is also 1. So same value, different y value, not possible in the function. That's why this is not function, this is not function, and this is not function. Other than these three, the remaining are functions. This one we have to identify the intercepts and the type of symmetry. So intercept means this one, this one, this one is the intercepts, and symmetry means so y symmetry, because left and right is same. That's why here intercept is this one and this one. Okay, and it has all symmetry because you can see, you can flip it, you can look left and right, and also corner also same. So all symmetry here is written, answer is written here, just for if you are curious. Can I put it here? No. If we put it there, then everything gets messy. Anyhow, so there is some explanation box also. If you're interested, you can read that. For this function, domain and range. So yeah, this graph is actually moved a little bit up to be correct. Yeah, so some slightly we changed this question. Domain and range. Domain is from minus infinity to plus infinity. Range is from minus 1 to plus infinity. Maxima is here at 0, minima is at minus 4 and 3. Yeah, all of them are correct. Increasing is from minus 4 to 0 and from 3 to plus infinity. This is decreasing and this is decreasing. From left to right, you have to look. You have to look from left to right. This question was actually a little bit different in our in the paper that you have. The question was something like this. Okay, in the paper, something like this, and a little bit like this, something like at 4 maybe, something different. This question was, but to make it symmetrical with our answer, we need to put it here. Okay, so in other words, actually I moved it in many different places for our class discussion somewhere, and then the line remained the same where the answer is different. Okay, anyway, so the line will be like this if this answer is correct. Okay, minus twice x plus 1 is the y-intercept, and negative 2, because you see rise is minus 2 and run is 1 here. Run is 1 and rise is minus 2, because it goes down, that's why run is minus 2. So that's why rise over run, that means minus 2 divided by 1, so we have minus 2 here. Then we need to find out the perpendicular line. To get a perpendicular line, first of all we need to find out the slope, where is m1 into m2 equals to minus 1. This is the formula. You put m1 here, then you get the slope of the other line, which will be plus half, because it is minus 2, so negative reciprocal is plus half. So this plus half comes here. This is y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1 formula. x1, y1 value is given here in the question, so we put it here in this formula. Then we just do this little calculation. Half into x means half x, and 2 divided by 2 means 1. Minus minus plus, that's why it becomes plus. This is minus 3. Minus 3 from this side, it comes to this side, it becomes plus 3. 3 plus 1 equals to 4, like that. To get our y and x intercept, you can see our y-intercept is already 4, because if we put x equals to 0, our y-intercept is 4, and if we put y equals to 0, we get our x-intercept minus it. This is the process. For this question, we have to find out a quadratic function, and for finding the quadratic function, this becomes easier when a equal to what it is given. Just you need to find out the vertex. Vertex is here minus 1 comma plus 1. So you put here minus 1 and plus 1 here, and a equals to minus 2 is given. A equals to minus 2 is given in the function. This is the standard form, vertex form, a into x minus h whole square plus k in this format. So we just put it here. This is the formula, a into x minus h whole square plus k. H comma k is the vertex. Okay, so we put it here. Then x plus 1 whole square, we can use the formula, a plus b whole square formula, just like this. It is shown here. So a plus b whole square means a square plus twice ab plus b square. We use the formula, multiply it by minus 2, then just do some simplification. From this, to get the x-intercepts, we have to put y equals to 0. That means this side equals to 0. So we put it here, and then we use quadratic formula. See, quadratic formula: a equals to minus 2, b equals to minus 4, and c equals to minus 1. We put this value in the quadratic function, and then a quadratic formula. Then we get the solution. Quadratic formula means x equals to minus b plus minus the square root of b square minus 4ac divided by twice that formula. We put the value there, and we get the solution. From here, we can do the middle term factoring for all of them actually. For this one and for this one, first we have to do some calculation like this. This one, do some calculation. So x minus 2 whole square, that's why. Okay, this part we have to first of all break it down, then we can do the calculation for our solution. In this case, all three maths actually have the solution, but if you see that some maths do not have solution, then you have to be careful about that. Maths is done here. Just if you are curious, you can have a look here. Okay, and this is true for all of this maths. Actually, you can solve. Other than this method, you can solve all the maths by using the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula will give you the solution, exact same solution. Quadratic formula will also give you. Just one important thing: if you use the quadratic formula, write the function like this c number first, then you use the quadratic formula, because quadratic formula is synchronized with ax square plus bx plus c, that format. That's why it has to be in this format before you use that. So this is a scatter diagram. Many of you actually said that in the scatter diagram, you are getting different answers. Some people actually said in the chat, in the WhatsApp, you are getting different solutions, and the reason is actually this is allowed here to get different solutions, because which points you choose, your answer depends on that. Where do you put the straight line there, and from which points you take it, or if there is some like slight difference in the inclination of the line, or if the line little bit fluctuate from my line straight line to your straight line, then actually answer will vary, and this is allowed here. But just make sure that your line is following that trend of the data. Suppose you cannot draw a line like this, you cannot draw a line all of a sudden like this. So try to draw the line, or try to think about the line like this, then it will be reasonable answer. We always have tolerance for here for this kind of maths. Suppose it is 2.78x into this plus this. So basically, suppose 2.8, 2.9, even 3, or 1 point, not 1 point is too much. Let's say 2.5 or 2.2. We will give a huge tolerance here, so that we understand that everyone's answer is coming closer. Actually, there are precise rules for base fit line. And the more you draw, the more you work with the calculations, you will be better in base fit line. So this is the function this is the equation we get by choosing 2, 12.5 and 6.5, So 2, 12.5, that means this point, and 6.5, which is this and this point. So this point and this point gives us this answer. Okay. Calculation is done here. Just if you're curious, you can just have a look. And for 0 hours, what you can put 0. Answer is this. And for another question is like 5.5 hours. So you put 5.5 and then you do the calculation. 5.5 is here. Calculation is done here. So one important thing about this is, if answer varies, don't worry. Okay. Suppose you could take this point and not exactly correct. Maybe this point also you can take, or this point, and from your imaginary line, wherever you think the line should go, you can take another point from the line also. Okay. If you have pen and paper, if this is a printed question paper, you could actually draw the line exactly, and then you could do, and you would have many different solutions at that time. More answer would vary more and more in that case. Okay, but when the points are given this way, then actually you can just choose approximately any 2 points from the trend of the data. Okay, so then suppose these 2 points you cannot choose. If you choose these 2 points, that means your line is here. These 2 points you cannot choose. You have to choose like from here to some points here, some points here, like so that if you draw a line, then it becomes straight. Okay, like that. This one is related to our inequality in quadratic function, linear function here, linear function, 5 years. Yeah, linear depreciation. This one is linear depreciation. Linear depreciation. So is 60,000 inequality in quadratic function is coming up. This is linear function, linear depreciation, because the car value is declining. That's why. So $60,000 is the starting value, and in 5 years the value is depreciating. So we divide it by 5, and then we get 12,000. So it is depreciating. That's why 12,000x plus 60,000. Then the remaining part is easy. For 3 years, how much? You just put here x equals to 3, and 36,000 is when. Then you put bx equals to 36,000. Then you get the solution this way. So these are the depreciation related maths. That is the reason why this math is taking this form. And the calculation, little calculation is done here. Another math is this is related to quadratic function, quadratic inequality. This is t squared, that's why quadratic. So first is ground. Actually, we discussed this math a couple of times. What time it will hit the ground? So we have to put s of t equals to 0 and find out t, the value of t, which is done here also. 32 feet above the ground, so we have to put 32 here. Then we find out t equals to what? We get 2 solution. Our second solution is correct here. So you see, in this math, actually, this is kind of interesting. If we have 32, this 32 actually we cannot do the middle term factoring anymore. We have to use the quadratic formula to find out this solution. Okay, so we have to use the quadratic formula because it is a quadratic function, so you can use the quadratic formula to find out the solution. And at 3.5 second, what is the time? So you put t equals to 3.5 second. Okay, so this way we can do it. When you put 32 here, just coming back to the b number once again, when you put 32 here, then bring this 32 this side to this side, or bring everything in one side first of all. Then a equal to what, b equal to what, c equals to what. Then from that a, b, c, you will actually get the value. Let me write it for you all. Let me write it for you all. So if we bring all these things to one side, then it will be 16 t squared, then minus 96t. Then if we put 32 here, it will become plus 32. I am taking all of them to the left side, equals to 0. Then your a equal to 16, b equal to minus 96, and c equals to, this is a, this is b, this is c. Then you use the formula x equals to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by twice. I'm just laughing by remembering a fact. You just put it here, ABC value here, and then you will get the 2 solutions from this and this. Do the calculation and you will definitely get the solution. Some students actually said that since the semester is closing, and they said that they will miss the sound of the chicken. So I think that's why the chicken started giving some sound. Actually, this is 4:54 a.m. That means it's almost late night, and they started making the sound this time even, which is funny. Yeah. Anyway, I think actually in the same time we are just at the end of this question paper, answer paper, solution paper, etc., whatever you say. So best of luck for your exams and everything, and always be happy. Okay, be happy, find your purpose of life, and and live for that. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time and life ahead. Bye.